What's this episode about? What are we going to talk about?
Well, if I've written itinerary, as you can see.
I shall go look for the itinerary.
Oh, you did write an itinerary, and then
the amount of cheese that we've eaten, the most important. Talk war stuff.
Yeah.
Fucking Steam Awards, because the drive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a mental breakdown. And well, if you played anything over the Christmas break, and then looking forward to the year.
Can we just take the Steam Awards first, though? Or should we do the Total War stuff? Total War stuff is always like on the first in Gen, right?
Yeah, I feel like we should just get the statements out of it. You know, once we've actually started and addressed the last time we tried to record on the plane.
Yeah. The last
which will open up this episode. God, my internet isn't having a good time. It's transformed into an Autobot.
Is my internet's going bad, or is it you guys'?
I think it must have been Monsters then, because he just turned into an Autobot for me. Wait.
Oh, manage how you were seen on Skype. Oh, fuck's sake. Fucking...
Why would this ever be useful? We like little babies all sat in our seats.
It's weird, isn't it? Also, it's like I can drink from this cup. It's very odd.
You have to go put on another shirt that's like only one color so the AI understands it.
Oh, I'm gonna be sick.
And look, if you do it like this, they're like, wait, my really large baby hands like this.
Oh, Status, I need help. Welcome. What episode is this? Is it like 6, 7? I don't know. It's the first one of 2024. We were going to make this episode before Christmas, but as you saw previously, it did not go well. Discord didn't work. Skype was chaos, and then by the time we got to talking, we'd exhaust ourselves from laughing at the airplane picture and talked for about 5 minutes, most of which
I want to set it in the Futurama thing where he just goes, "Welcome to the world of tomorrow." That's what I wish for. That's my only wish for this year.
Okay,
that's the first one for the year.
We can edit that in. It's perfect.
Yeah, I love when you make more work for me. Anyway, so yeah.
But yeah, we don't have to do it. We're fine.
We're going to give a condensed version of the Total War news, even though it's late as hell, and we're not going to say stuff that will get us in legal trouble again.
This time.
And then we're going to address the goddamn Steam Awards. Let's start with Total War as usual. So, well, there's the two things. There's the blog post where they said that they were like, you know what, we done fricked up, and we're going to try and fix this. They're going to add some new stuff to Shadows of Change. Thrones of Delay is delayed. You know, we're not in 2023 anymore, so sadly it did not come out in 2023, to everyone's surprise, and it's probably been pushed back to like Q2 of this year.
Cute. Nah, that one is actually April, they said in the blog post.
Yeah. So it's Q3.
Yes, that is Q2. But we're getting the update in February for Shadow of Change. So it just took like 6 months for them to fix that up. Maybe. We'll see first what they're actually going to do.
Yeah, if they're like one unit.
But I mean, like, they have... The blog post basically went like, hey, how much can I swear on YouTube, by the way, without us being demonetized on this?
Fred, my channel's like a ruddy dockyard, so don't worry about it.
Go for it.
All right, so basically they just went, and somebody else just came, sound like they were in charge now. You just had to like look, like get into the room. Everything was on fire. They're just coming in there with the pizza, like Troy in Community. Someone just standing there whipping somebody with a towel, and they're like, and they just, you understand that like, shit's on fire, yo. It's gonna have to rebuild it here. It's gonna, fix it up. So it did seem like an earnest blog post where they actually did want to make a change to Shadows of Change. But if they're going to be able to do that, is like a completely different matter. But it did feel like genuine blog post, at least. But,
it did. It did feel very genuine, and I really am looking, as Damda said, I think on Twitter. I'm not going to call it X because it's Twitter. That we are all hoping for the Total War Redemption arc.
This year, it's going to be the one.
It's going to be the one.
It's the year of Warhammer 3, only 3 years into its release.
Yeah, they're going to go to x.com. Man, I still type like hotmail.com. Like Google and all those are just like, did you mean Outlook or like Live or whatever it's called now? And I was like, yeah, okay.
Did you mean hotmails.com? No. No, I did not.
Bookmark that one for later, but not right now.
Yeah, book that for later. But yeah, I really want to. I want to believe, like Mulder did. But at the back of my head, I'm like, I don't think there's been that many changes at Creative Assembly in the upper echelons, apart from the absolute arse kicking they've got over the fact that what they've been releasing recently is shit, and also their Hyenas debacle, which I think is probably the best word for it. I was always very sort of like, I don't know how the games industry works, so maybe this is a good idea kind of thing. But after Hyenas, I'm just genuinely like, I don't think people at Sega and Creative Assembly actually know what the fuck they're doing.
No. Yeah.
I think that a majority of them know, but some of them are just in the Bobby Kotick kind of mindsets that they just want to win for themselves. So like you get up to a higher level and then you're like, if I do this, I can get a really big bonus, and they don't give a shit about the company or like the product or anything like that. And they generally create worse games thanks to this.
Yeah, there's definitely people at the top that have no fucking clue what they're doing. Because it's not just Creative Assembly, because Sega were the ones that saw this and went, yes, let's give this Creative Assembly a bunch of money and time to make this.
I still can't believe they just burn it rather than like just releasing it to see if it makes any money and just leaving it dead in arrival.
It's because it costs money as well to keep it running. It's marketing, like a couple of millions into marketing, right? You're gonna have server costs, maybe not a couple of millions, I don't know, but it's gonna be like, marketing, server costs. You have to moderate that because in the EU now, that's why like they remove the chat in every single Total War game, because you can't moderate it. So they have to have people for that. And it's a very big cost to actually release and see if it makes any money.
Yeah, plus they need to keep the dev team on because it's bound to be like a live service game because they fucking love that shit. So you've then got all the cost of the development team, the marketing team, the community team on top of that, just to watch this dead fish flap around on the floor, gasping for air, which I think Hyenas was. As much as I wanted to say, maybe this is good and it's just not my kind of thing, I genuinely have not spoken to a single person that looked at Hyenas and said anything other than,
it is a game.
Fine. Yeah, it looks fine. It is a game. Am I going to play this? No. Like, even people who were into that genre kind of went, yeah.
Well, the problem with the people that are in that genre is that there's games in that genre that have been out for years that they have sunk thousands of both hours and dollars into. So why would they possibly go for this random ass game that is way late to the party and it's just mid as hell? It's insane.
Yeah, they did bring up a really good point, though. I saw somebody, because CA took in a lot of like pro players, like FPS pro players, stuff like that, to give feedback on the games. And they were like, oh yeah, add 12% more on this one, like damage and like a little bit more burst on this, blah, 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 guns. And they just couldn't make it fun anyway, which is always like one of those things where if you put in like somebody's really good at a game, they probably won't be able to balance a game to make it fun anyway. They can make it balanced, they're more competitive. But in the end, I don't know if did you guys ever play Hyenas? I tried like one of the alphas.
I did like 2 games in the final beta before.
Yeah, I tried it in the alpha, and I couldn't find anyone to play with, so I was like, let's see if I can do anything myself. And every single unit, like robot dude that you had to fight to get into the vault, was like a goddamn Borderlands boss or something like that. It was so atrocious. You can kind of see like, yeah, it might work for if you have like more people and it's actually balanced, but man, like they just forgot like the fun part or something.
Yeah, I played with 2 of my friends, and I think that was the maximum squad that you could have, and it was just like, it just felt poorly balanced. Like the AI was there was too many of them. It was like clusters of AI. Like one of the good things about Hunt Showdown is that there's one boss. You go and you take down that one boss. It's just one enemy, so, you know, if it starts overwhelming, you all just pull out and there's nothing else that you have to fight apart from other players, and that's how these games work. This was like playing, like you said, a Borderlands camp, where you have to constantly, like, we were constantly defeating enemies whilst we unlock this goddamn safe, and then right as we opened it, it spawned a load of, like, boss enemies that wiped us out anyway. Never mind other players coming and finding us. It was just like, it didn't make any sense. It was just, I don't like those types of games anyway, but it wasn't fun. Anyway, we were supposed to talk about Total War.
Well,
No, it's adjacent.
Adjacent.
It is adjacent. It is that case of this is what Creative Assembly were working on, right? I know they said that they're separate teams, but it genuinely feels like a lot of their resources seem to have gone to Hyenas, or alternatively just desperately trying to fight the tech debt that they've delved themselves
there
into.
was the AMA on Reddit as well, which was very well. It did. I did link you guys that one a while ago.
Yeah.
It was the ex-employee that had been there and has stopped before Chaos Dwarfs or something. And basically, CA gets a budget from Sega. Like somebody has to go in there, make a sales pitch. It's like, hey, we want money to I'm gonna make a bear fighting game, and and if they do a good enough sales pitch, they get like an allocated budget for just that thing. But it does feel like all the good sales people that actually was supposed to do the sales pitches for those just went over to Hyenas instead of being a Total War. Because a Total War was like, yeah, just give us how many people are we? 5 apples, and it's like, what are you doing? Well, you're just an intern. You don't need an apple. So we're gonna make a DLC now, basically.
Must have been a really fucking good salesman to sell Hyenas to anyone.
Well, it was somebody had an internal thing about Bobby Kotick, who's an interesting person as well, because he made everything worse thanks to their own personal greed. But you can't really say that he wasn't good at stuff, because it's something like Overwatch was doing worse and worse on Twitch. So this dude goes out and tries to sell it to other companies, other streaming platforms, hey, you want exclusive rights and stuff like this. And he just makes $35 million or something. I can't remember the exact numbers, but he sells it and makes so much money to YouTube instead. And it's just crazy that he even managed to do that.
Yeah, I think there was some whisperings that someone very high up at CA, not even one of those page people, just someone in CA high level management was just really pushing for it. Probably because they just saw the success of something like Apex or one of the other live service games. I'm well, I like money. If I can get one of those, I'll have lots of money. Without realizing that it takes a shitload of time, especially if it's something you have never done before and have no experience in. And it's shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think that the fact that they've had that kick up the arse about Hyenas, and also the fact that they've had effectively, I think if they were looking at Hyenas as this is going to be our next big thing and this is what's going to keep the company running, and then that gets cut off like the gangrenous limb that it is, they now look at Warhammer and Total War and go, oh shit, we probably should have been looking after that, shouldn't we? Well, which I think it feels like that's what the response to this is. It feels like the response to this is basically oh fuck, we're fucking this.
I've left the potatoes in the oven. I need to sort them out. Yeah, they've had a complete panic. I think they released a second statement after this on an earnings call or something that said we're going to reshift our focus back to strategy games. No fucking shit, guys. Although they did.
Yeah.
Didn't they didn't they can Pharaoh and refund the high level editions because they're not going to do the DLC for it?
Yeah, so they can get rid of the season passes, stuff like that. They refunded those, so they're not legally obliged to do those anymore.
Oof.
Oh, really? Did they do that? I thought they'd lowered the price, refunded the difference between the full price and the new price to anyone that bought it, and then said they were going to look at doing Pharaoh stuff this year, not next year, this year.
I think it's just heavily reduced Pharaoh
content.
They're
gonna put in the seamen into it.
Nice.
I will not do the politically correct term of sea people. They're only men who are coming in there from the sea.
But
so they're gonna
Fred,
put in the
I don't think
seamen.
you're right there, because apparently it was nomadic tribes, so they were literally bringing everyone. It wasn't an invasion; it was more a sort of migration. So they would have brought women and children.
Well, not in the game.
I mean, you can't argue
until
with the
they
law.
add the women and children. It is seamen.
It's just always funny.
Yeah, but I mean, Pharaoh's not actually. I mean, I know Pharaoh got a lot of hate. I don't think Pharaoh's that bad. I think it does a lot of things right. I just think, and I think this is Creative Assembly all over. There's a lot of good ideas there that aren't fully fleshed out. There's a whole bunch of stuff that if they had sent it to a group of players and said, what do you think of this? I think there's a bunch of stuff those players would have gone back with and gone, you need to change, and particularly things like, I mean, the fuck, what they call the legacies. Is it the legacies?
Yeah.
Like the whole building monuments thing, or you can do the trading thing, or you can do the other thing. Like some of those are absolute dog shit.
The trading was
terrible.
like weird. It felt like it could be really good, but then I never got it good. I just went around and just like clicked on things, and then it was like, all right, welcome back then, dudes.
Yeah, and like I forget the pharaoh. I mean, particularly because which one was it? The Hittites one. They only had 2, and both those were terrible. But the pharaohs, the attack one was like one where you could stack bonuses against a specific city. But it's such a specific thing that it's almost completely useless. Like having anything, but to be honest, the religion one is probably the one that shines above all of the others because it's so much fun compared to literally all the others. And it's just one of those things where you just go, if only you'd fleshed that out, that would have been really good. And instead you've like thrown it out there in its current state and it looks unfinished. And I just feel that's like Pharaoh in general just feels like it could be good, but it feels unfinished.
It was a weird one. It was definitely like one of those. It should have been $39. People would have been happy probably, but they went for like 60 or something, and yeah, it was weird as hell.
Yeah,
but they are adding in.
Sorry, go on.
They are adding in seamen. They are removing the season pass. They're trying to, do whatever they can with it. I guess it's going to be like the Norse Britannia. Gets a couple of updates, gets better, then let go.
Yeah. I think. I mean, the other thing it does badly is, of course, it spawns armies out of its arse, which is a terrible mechanic that no one likes, and I don't know why they keep doing that, to be honest, because it's complete bullshit and no one likes it. I don't know why they keep doing it.
They're not good at making difficulty.
Oh, they're really not. They're really not.
No. Well, I say not always. I don't actually know when they're being good at it. Three Kingdoms had a good end game threats. It had the best one hands down. I'm gonna die on that hill. Best one of recent memories.
I will die on that hill next to you, Fred. Yeah. And I don't know why that works better than any other, because I guess because it feels a bit more organic.
It's because you could juggle it as well. Even on the highest difficulties, like you had like 2 giant kingdoms. They would send like massive amounts of armies at you. You would fight those, and they wouldn't be able to just build those up in 2 turns and send more. It wasn't continuous waves of people. It was just like, these are the ones, you kill them off, and then the AI was like, fair income, dude. It's all right. Just don't go for that settlement. You want some peace? I'll give you this farmland for it. And a wooden dog.
Is that some Gen X thing? I don't know what that means. Anyway, the point is that, no, it was. And I think also that Three Kingdoms allowed you to do things that made you feel smart. And also the economy always felt good, where I think in Warhammer 3, it always feels like an absolute fucking slog. Your economy always feels like garbage. And you never feel like you can recruit enough stuff to deal with all the endless armies that are being thrown at you. Whereas Three Kingdoms always just felt like, apart from the fact they left that game in a fucking awful state, which is a real shame, that game was great, and they should have just continued with it. But I think, again, it shows that they just don't really know what they're doing there. Like, why would you end a Three Kingdoms support and then have nothing in your back pocket? That just doesn't make much sense to me, to be honest.
Well, according to the AMA, they said that the DLC weren't profitable. And they didn't say profitable enough. They just said weren't profitable. And that's a shame, because they really Eighth Princess really ruined that game, unfortunately.
Weird choice. Such an odd choice for your first DLC.
Yeah, I was in Germany, and I at Gamescom. And I talked to people in PR and in game stuff like that, and they simply said that when you have such a big hit like Three Kingdoms, you just want to release anything just to keep that hype going, and to earn as much money as possible. And it really goes to show that once again, the Bobby Kotick's of the gaming industry has really like invaded every single corner of it and really has made it worse.
Yeah, those guys suck.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, so that's Total War. Oh, should we talk about the partner program?
I don't know. Shouldn't we talk about what's in store for Warhammer 3? Keep it a little bit light and positive as well.
There is, there is some possible hope. So as we said, there's the rework, there's the Shadows of Change changing, and then Thrones of Delay also presumably getting the same sorts of changes. Which have they actually said, or we're just kind of like assuming that it's just going to be more units and maybe a balance patch?
They have said that they've learned that wasn't worth it, so they're gonna make it up to everybody. So I just assume that it's gonna be worth the money. The Thrones of Delay again.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming it's more units to make up for.
Yeah, I think it's probably going to be like maybe a generic Lord here or there, like the Hag Mothers, whatever they're called. Faction.
Again, very easy to add. Why didn't they do it? I don't. They see it's very penny pinching, isn't it? It's very like even modders can add it in just based on adding different bits from Mother Ostankia and the Hag Witches that already exist together and going, this is a Lord, and everyone just goes, hey, that looks pretty good. And I don't know why Creative Assembly can't do that shit.
Yeah, like the Necrarchs. Literally just like somebody is like Frankenstein together.
Yep, it's not hard. It's really not hard, and it feels very, very penny pinching to go, oh no, we can't do that because don't have the budget for it. It's like, mate, someone can probably do that in a day. Just fucking let them do it.
I mean, best case scenario, like you said, a Lord, a couple of units. Hopefully, Singe and Kislev gets their reworks, like not maybe proper ones, but better ones, because Singe didn't get anything. They just removed stuff from Kairos. I think he still has like some stuff in his tech tree as well for the old stuff. Still, and it's just
he does,
it was the weirdest shit in the world, really.
It's because it's stuff that doesn't it's stuff that either shows you what the AI is doing that's fucking stupid, like show me what this army's doing, and that you can see they're attacking like they're planning to attack an army over the other side of the fucking world. You're going, why? Or alternatively, it's stuff that the AI, I guess, can't use or doesn't understand or can be fun. Again, it's Creative Assembly have a real thing against fun. They don't seem to like it. I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that they want to keep it balanced for multiplayer that nobody plays. People ask me sometimes like, "Oh, how's the 8 people multiplayer?" It's like, well, it takes a long time.
Fucking, it's all the people going, but the changeling, you can't lose at him. You can't lose as fucking anyone. It doesn't matter. But like, you can't. You're basically literally invincible. So, who cares?
At least when you're playing the changeling, you've got some interesting objectives. Well,
yeah,
interesting
objectives are good.
If they fucking work, which they didn't for me, pretty much everyone was a massive letdown.
Oh yeah, so you get the objectives, but the reward is lacking. In a lot of places, it's like, do this, so it's like nothing happens.
I remember getting the empires at Civil War, and there was only 2 empire factions left, and both of them stayed at a military alliance with each other. I was like, what the fuck happened there?
Dude, I had so many bugs in that one as well. Like the scribes didn't spawn. The A-Call did like that quest broke. And then also, like you said, the rewards were weird. Like you would spawn Norska in like Cathay or something like that it wouldn't do anything. You would put the Black Pyramid in Lustra, that wouldn't do anything, and stuff like that.
Spawned 4 armies full of Tomb Kings that did then fucking died immediately. Because every time I did one of these grand schemes, it was always like, that did nothing. And the change they're going, just as planned.
Yeah, there's like
nothing. It did nothing. It literally did nothing. It infuriated me.
If you did like 2 of them at the same time on Ultron, they did something, because then you would have like Cult of Pleasure invading plus the Norscan invasion or Chaos invasion, whatever it was. Then Ultron would be devastated.
See, that I feel like, and I said this to one of the devs. I said like, I feel like if I get through all the effort of completing a grand scheme, I want that to have map changing effects. I don't want to do it and then go, oh, That was a letdown, which is what happened with every single grand scheme, right up to the Supreme Grand Scheme, which was a final battle, which I finished and then went, what the fuck was that about? Which again was something. If I start thinking about the Mother Ostankia final battle, I will potentially have an aneurysm in my brain that will kill me because I am so angry about that I just cannot work out what the fuck Creative Assembly were thinking.
I'm still saying it. The Inquisition, they do whatever.
There's no lead up. It's like the final battle. Oh, the forces of darkness. The Empire. What?
Those pesky Empire evil guys.
And then Steven turned up, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?"
Yeah, it's weird. What's like I agree with both of you though. Like good objectives with poor rewards.
Yeah, it feels like there's a good idea there. It's pretty much whatever. They've got a good idea. Can they follow through with it? No. It's always massively, massively disappointing.
Man, I'm gonna try to keep it positive. Still, I'm gonna be positive.
No, you can't. You can't because now I'm talking about the Mother Ostankia battle. It just makes me angry
it's a new year, and anything goes. It's gonna be good.
Yeah,
forces of darkness, it says.
I'm not disappointed until it hits me in the face with its disappointing little fists.
We'll
see what happens
because we've got that Thrones of Decay, and then I think they've said that the plans are like the roadmap that said it was going to be Slaanesh, whoever, and well, they didn't say Slash, but it was purple, so Slaanesh, whoever, and whoever. I think they've been scrapped. Do you think they're going to go back to 2 lords, or do you think they're just doing like? I think if it was going to be the 3 lords, I'd just keep it the same. But I think they might drop back down to 2 because they realize that 3 is too expensive and too much work for everyone.
Good question. I think if the next one does well, they're going to do 3.
Yeah.
But let's go like this. What do you guys hope for Thrones of Decay? What's your hopes for us?
Nurgle rework.
Well, yeah.
A desperately needed Nurgle economy rework because Nurgle, although he can make a lot of money, the amount of money you have to spend to make money with Nurgle is obscene.
Okay, but I'm going to positive Peter the shit out of this now, okay? You guys going to have to just brace yourselves, okay? Specifics, what do you want?
I think just like reworks for the factions that we've been promised reworks for.
All right, yeah.
It's just simple as.
Specifics. Constructive criticism here. We're going to be positive petering the shit out of this. New year, we're going to start it off positive at least. I'm going to sit there.
So Empire need tweaking. Their mechanic is okay.
What do you want with them?
Well.
Yeah, what do we want with them? What do you want?
No, just make it work good because it kind of works kind of ass at the minute. You either get a million Imperial Authority because everyone loves you.
Make work good. You heard him. You fucking heard the man.
Make work good.
Exactly.
Not bad.
And then Dwarves. The Dwarves have had like 2 reworks, and they've got like 1 new mechanic out of both of them. They've had the worst rework. Actually, no, Vampire Cants have had the worst reworks. But second place.
They had 2 mechanics, though, to be fair. They had the first one was Forge, and then it was Magic.
Oh, yeah. The Magic was. Alright, the Magic was cool. But the Forge is like.
The Forge was cool when it came out.
I mean, yeah, but it's fine. It's just like items and.
Does anyone actually like the rune magic?
I mean, it's better than having no magic. It's kind of cool. It looks nice.
But it's one of those things where because each rune you use has a shared cooldown, which means if you use a rune, you're probably not going to be able to use another one for 90 seconds. Now, most battles in Total War only last roughly, on average, about 4 minutes.
Well, you have a shared cooldown, a global cooldown, and cooldown for the spell.
Yeah.
So, like, they're 2 different ones, but you're not going to use magic that much more.
Incorrect. You will spam the fuck out of those spells. If you've got like a full stack of Winds of Magic, you've got like 100 Winds of Magic in the bank, you will be able to annihilate blobs of enemies compared to the little runesmith there going, "Pah! I'm doing a little bit of damage."
I mean, I think it's fine because I played a ton of dwarves. I really like the dwarves. When people say like, "Oh, the dwarves really need some help," I'm like, "Wait, what?"
I think
like literally, like they're so strong. They have like one of the best economies in the game. They have insane trade. Tech tree is like what everybody else wants. Some people might say, "Oh, the tech tree is too bloated." Nah.
You know what? I'm going to come out and say it. I don't think the dwarf economy is actually that good. You know who does have a fucking good economy?
What do you mean not that good? Literally, if
It's
you
not
play
that
like
good. It's
any
not-
of them,
not
like
that good.
mid game, you start getting like 12k just in trade.
Yeah, because
No,
they have the
because they-
4th tier resource buildings.
Their
Everyone wants to
trade
trade
is
them.
good. Their trade is good, but their actual like base economy not that good.
Yeah,
You know, who
the
does have a
units are
really good
expensive. But
economy?
No, I disagree. I
Bretonia.
agree to
Bretonia's got a
disagree.
fucking insane economy.
Who?
Bretonia.
Yeah, they do. They don't have the best economy, but they do have one of the best economies.
You know what? I would go and say they do, and the reason is because their money buildings are dirt fucking cheap.
That's true.
Like
Yeah.
to upgrade the final money built the agriculture building is 1,500.
Oh yeah, I was
nothing.
talking about
It's a-
the dwarves don't have the best economy. They have one of the best ones. But the same with Bretonia. Bretonia's good strength isn't just the economy buildings; it's that they don't have any upkeep at all. That and when you get like all of the really strong vows and stuff like that, it's like stuff that just doesn't cost that much, and you don't need that much stuff either to invade stuff. So you can have like several armies. In fact, what you start doing is you just have 3 lords following you, so you steamroll the map with like 1 army and 3 lords anyway.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's a little bit more sort of juggly because you have to try and work. You have to get your vows on the different lords to be able to recruit because you don't want.
Some of them are shit as well. It's like, oh, you want to go have a sea battle? It's like, yeah.
Sea battles are generally fine. It's the things like if you accidentally pick like defeat a legendary lord belonging to Skaven, Chaos, or Orcs, and you don't happen to be near any of them, or the one you were near just gets wiped out, and you're like, oh fuck, now what am I going to do?
Yeah. Well, the sea battles are usually a problem because I just have them following a main lord just to like farm chivalry, and they're so strong as well, like so insanely strong. Just having like 4 lords in one army, it's just crazy strong. So when one of them sits there alone, it's like, yeah, go fight like a island full of pirates. The pirates are already dead, but they're moving, so that's your problem.
Exactly. So yeah, but I do think the dwarves are generally fine. I just think their rune magic is a bit meh because it does go on that long ass cooldown, and I just think just get rid of the cooldown. Who fucking cares?
Allow me to propose a theory. It's that the dwarves were balanced to initially have no magic. Like all their ranged units are ridiculous. Their front lines, obviously like the beefiest in the game. Their artillery is world class. So like if they had an OP winds of magic as well, they'd be like, again, multiplier. They'd be so incredibly cracked that it just like that no one can beat them. So the runic magic it's fine, but it's not great. Because otherwise the doors would be OP.
But that's what you know, where you really notice the power creep, though. I usually like don't talk about the power creep too much because I don't really mind it too much. I just want stuff to be more fun, and you should buff the other stuff. But all of the factions from the first game was designed to have like a really big weakness and really big strengths. So like the vampires don't have anything ranged, but they have really good like hammer and anvils. The dwarves don't have any cavalry, but they have really good range and really good front lines. So they're all missing like one really important component, right? But the Empire was supposed to be like the jack of trades. They were supposed to be a little bit good at everything. But then like Cathay comes around and they're like just looking at the Empire like, we're like you, but better, right? Because they have everything and it's just so much better as well. They have like a strong front line, good back line. Good monsters, everything. And they're like, we have a steam tank. Oh,
the steam tank's awful. It's
all it is just an artillery piece that's armored.
Yeah, it's not the best that you can tie units up, but that's it. Yeah, I think all the sort of like the game 1 factions are in need of extra stuff to make them competitive now, particularly like the undead. I think particularly because you say they've got a strong hammer and anvil, but I don't think they're actually that good anymore. I don't think the hammer's there. It's just all of their units seem to be very low performing. Things like the Blood Knights are just like
the vampires are definitely the ones that you can notice haven't had a DLC or an update for the longest. The last one was in 2017 or something, was it? No, 2018 with their updates, right? But they're still like them and the Wood Elves are the only factions in the game that cannot destroy walls inside a siege, for example. Which is just kind of weird, but the vampires definitely need a rework. They have good economy and stuff like that, but just having like giving stuff money doesn't make them automatically good. Unfortunately, because that's always like what Creative Assembly does. And I hate that number tweaking. I hate that the most because Norska is shit. They had like the problems of like having a lot of invasions everywhere. Can't really control anything. Like poor economy, and just like everyone just basically hates them. You get invaded from everywhere. You can't defend it. So what Creative Assembly did was like, well, you can get a lot of money from ports, and people are like, yeah, look how rich you can get. And it's like, yeah, number go up, but you still have like exactly the same problems anyway. Like it's not a good campaign.
No, I think that's an inherent problem with Total. To be honest, what I think Total War needs is less settlements, so there's less stuff to defend, because there's so much stuff that you need to kind of look after now. And then particularly in the late game where you've got 80 odd settlements to look after. Can you be bothered to deal with that? No, I can't.
That's just a problem in strategy games in general, though. Like Stellaris, when you're just like, no, I'm just gonna like close that tab off planets. Oops. So I don't think that's a total worry. That's just a problem with infrastructure.
I think for Total War that is because the main thing that the main annoyance, I think, is the fact that the AI will try and attack where you are not. And because that tends to be your settlements, like with the Norska issue, right? If Norska had like, I don't know, 8 settlements spread across Norska, but you had the same economy, that would be a lot less stuff to look after than having the 20 odd settlements to look after. Because that way, if they land on the coast, I mean, naval invasions are itself something I think that Total War again has kind of. I think basically they've made the game easier for the AI to deal with, and at the same time made it less fun for the player.
Yeah, that's probably the nail on the head there. It's easier for the AI, but worse for the player, less fun for the player.
Yeah, because I was playing Napoleon, and having to like load your armies onto a fleet means that you can block naval invasions. Unlike now, where they will just sail up and down the coast until they find somewhere where you can't reach them, and then land and then attack. Because they land right next to a city, and that's it. They've got it then.
I'll do you one better. Thrones of Britannia, where you can actually invade via the harbor as well with boats and stuff like that. Well, it's not just Thrones of Britannia, but that was the last one I played. But you can do that in Attila and Rome too, as well, right? And I just love that, where you just like have a siege settlement and you just invade via the harbor instead. There's no need to like lay siege or anything like that. It's just cool as hell.
It is cool, but very easy to game. Because I took over so many settlements just by sitting in my boats and being like, I've got infinite fucking arrows and I can slightly outrange you, so just slowly feed your units into me. Thank you very much. I'll take that city then. And I think the problem is that it's very easy for the AI to just invade you from the sea, which means having any kind of coastline in Total War, particularly Warhammer. Troy has this problem as well, because mid-game you are effectively fighting naval battles on islands, and the fact that you have to take an island.
I found something here.
What's that?
The subject we were talking about again. I wrangled it back here. So what I hope anyway for Thrones of Decay is easily going to be like good Empire engineers. They have to fix the prestige and stuff like that, because you get so much prestige in the end. You do nothing with it. You need to be able to do like trade deals and stuff like that with prestige and authority and stuff like that. Like authority is so weird as well. Like they need to like check that you can do all diplomacy via prestige if you want to, basically with the other Empire dudes. Actually use them as vassals would be cool. And a good frontline like Teutonic Knights or something like that. Teutogenic, I can't remember what they're called. Like there's also the hammers of
the White Wolves
yeah. And then you have the dwarves. I'm like, they're fine. They might need like a better like system that you have to try to keep track and help the other dwarves. And then they need rune golems, thunder barges, and like Malachi Mikeson. Or like Slayer Lords or Heroes. Slayer Heroes. That's it for them.
Like Demon Slayers.
Well, being a okay, we're gonna go into a little bit of lore, but like the Slayer is gonna be called a Slayer depending on what they manage to kill. So, like Troll Slayer, for example, is like for the first one that's Gotrek. The first book is like called Troll Slayer. I don't think he actually kills the troll now, and it's like goblins and shit. Maybe it was a long time since I read it. But like a Troll Slayer, somebody's killed a troll and blah blah blah. So Demon Slayers is just somebody's killed a demon, and Gotrek has killed demons as well, for example.
Yeah, but
and it doesn't specify which kind of demon either, so it could just be a Nurgling as well.
If I remember correctly, Slayers had different. So in the Warhammer, and I can't remember what version this was. I think it was 6th edition or something.
Yeah,
you had Slayers,
they do have
and you
stats,
had a champion, which was a Giant Slayer, and you had the hero, which was the Demon Slayer. So I guess a Demon Slayer would be sort of like a runesmith or a thane, something like that. It'd be that sort of level. So you basically have a Slayer hero who would be a Demon Slayer.
I just wanted to lore geek out a little bit. You can also be like a Dragon Slayer, like lore wise, I guess. But yeah, Demon Slayer is, I guess, the highest echelon of them. Otherwise,
does anyone use Slayers? I feel like I never use them. Slayers.
No,
I've been playing an Ungrim campaign, and they're fine, but they are very squishy.
Yeah,
which means you come out of every battle going, oof, that hurt.
Yeah, I always have like 2 of them in the back, so that when stuff lands into my back line, they'll just rush in, murder that, and then just kind of draw back, but they don't really... You can do like Ungrim Slayer armies, but they're just not very... I don't enjoy them. Efficient. Yeah, I don't enjoy them, I don't know. And for Nurgle, definitely like better plagues. They need to fix those plagues. Jesus Christ, they're boring. It's like, it's just number tweaking. It's like, oh, I'm going to send you math. And they're like, oh no, my boots, they're shit now. I can't move as fast. And you're like,
here's something I think they need, right?
Yes.
What they need. And I think the problem with plagues, because I don't know if you've noticed that the Skaven plagues at the moment are fucked. Because whenever they spread, they refresh. So if you have a Skaven plague on 1 turn, and then it jumps, it will be back to 5 turns. And there doesn't seem to be a limit on how many times it can jump. So you can basically like plague an entire fucking region. But Nurgle plagues seem to be worse in that, I think they can only jump like 5 times, and each time they jump, the duration reduces. And I think Creative Assembly are scared that plagues may be too effective because the AI doesn't know how to deal with attrition.
I think that's they don't know how to make them fun whatsoever. So it's probably like you're saying, but they just don't know how to make them fun because all they can do is just put numbers on something. But honestly, they should have like abilities and stuff like that.
I think what they need is the anti-Skaven building, which is also an anti-plague building, which they dump everything onto, which they're not entirely sure what to do with. Yeah. They basically need to turn that into if you sit in a settlement with plague, this will cure the plague. So that way, if you've got a plague and you're like, shit, I need to get rid of this, you've got a way to do it. And it actually makes that building useful if you're fighting against factions who can dump a plague on you.
You highlight the very important issue of the plagues are both, like, there's not really a lot of point using them because they're, like you said, they don't do anything. But at the same time, if one hits you, there's nothing you can do about it. There's just, they're too passive. They don't do something.
It's because you are, in Total War Warhammer, particularly the higher difficulties, you're not playing the same game as the AI because you will only have 2-3 armies. The AI will be able to spawn armies out of its ass, and they'll be wave assaulting you, which means that if they get the plague, the likelihood is they're just going to suicide that army into something the next turn. So it doesn't fucking matter. Whereas you need to keep your army together so you don't want to be plagued. Because if you've got plague and you're taking attrition and not replenishing, that's fucking awful. That's like literally one of the worst things that can happen to you. So it's one of those things where because you're playing a different game, the plague is worse for the player than it is for the AI. So they don't want to make it too powerful for the AI to affect the player. But then when you're basically, it's a mechanic that I think they just need to be brave and go, you know what, if the player is playing, the plague needs to be more powerful. And if it's the AI, just make it weaker. It's a mechanic that's more fun to play with than it is to play against. Same thing with the Hit Claw and the Doom Rockets. Is it fun to have your army nuked? No.
I mean, I'm gonna say this: the nuke and stuff like that is fun to play against because it's like Oh yeah, I forgot about that, and now 2 of my units are deleted. And it's kind of like fun because it brings a little bit of life to stuff. It's like the Tomb Swarm for the Tomb Kings that just starts, playing something. It's like something you really don't care about in Warhammer 3, but in Warhammer 2, that was like a big annoyance always. The problem is that every single army gets like 1 or 2 of those. If you're fighting an army with like 2 Wicked Claw armies coming at you, they got 2 nukes. And same with like the Tomb Swarms. They would have like, so many goddamn swarms. It was insane.
Yeah, I think that's still the case. If you attack a settlement with a garrison, they get 1. The defending army will get 1. The one guy outside the enemy lord outside the settlement that happens to join the battle will also get 1, and so they'll just end up like blatting you. I think the problem is that it seems like Ikit's armies all get a Doom Rocket. It doesn't matter; they just get a Doom Rocket.
Yeah, that's how it is.
But they don't use it in auto-resolve.
No.
So exactly. The only person they will use them against is the player, because the player is the only person that's ever going to engage them in an actual battle.
It's like magic isn't used in auto-resolve either. If you have like a really good wizard, like that's not counted. You have like a weak, frail dude that's gonna fight for you. That's what's counted.
Yeah. But going back to the point that you managed to find, I think Nurgle's economy needs to be changed. To be honest, as much as I like the cylindrical, the cycle buildings, I think it's just really hard for them to fucking actually balance, because Nurgle's entire... I mean, this kind of comes back to that first multiplayer stream that some of us did, where as Nurgle, I had to auto-resolve so many battles, I ran out of units and couldn't recruit anymore, and had to rely on a outpost to recruit allied units, because I didn't even have Nurglings left. I had nothing. I could not recruit anything because I just like suicided so many units during auto-resolves. And Nurgle does have this issue where if you do build his Greater Demon of Nurgle building, you will get one of those every 9 turns. Whereas if you build the Greater Demon of any other faction, you can recruit as many of those fuckers as you want.
Yeah.
It's really thematic. It's great. It doesn't work.
No.
Kugath is like the strongest duelist in the game as well. It has been for a while, which is weird.
Oh, that's because he's so fucking big, they can't actually hit him, isn't it?
Yeah, and he also gets like an AoE, and he gets healing magic. Because he gets like the Mortis Engine effect where he damages stuff. But man, Nurgle is awful to play. I know there are people out there with brain damage, but also people who like Nurgle and play them.
I like Nurgle. I like playing as them. It's just you play it in spite of the mechanics. Thematic, they're great. Actual in-game, they're fucking awful.
I've got 2 things. I've got a suggestion of how to fix the cycle of building. So, CA, if you're listening, you can have this one for free. So instead of it recruits a new unit and adds it to the pool, you can recruit all the units that building unlocks. Once it's completed a cycle. However, depending on what cycle it's on, they are at a larger amount of HP. So if it's on cycle 1 and it's already been round and you've got the Greater Demon, you can get the Greater Demon, but he's going to be at like 1 HP. You can get as many as you want, but he's going to be real low HP. But if it's at tier 4, then he gets all his HP, a lot more HP.
What have you got 2 of those buildings? And how do you?
You can't.
How do you? If you have to then go and like, oh shit, what HP is my greater? The problem is that it's if you've got like a province of Nurgle, right? It's quite interesting to go, oh look, it's all that. But once you've got 2 or 3, you just don't give a shit. Like you can't give a shit. It's impossible. So you kind of end up with this period where you've got these buildings that kind of work weird, that although thematic, you kind of don't give a shit about. And also you have to spend an inordinate amount of money to be able to make enough money. And I think Kugath is the only campaign in Mortal Empires where I've got into like turn 180 and I'm still going, shit, I do not have enough money here. Like I managed to spend everything I get every turn on just trying to upgrade buildings to try and make more money. But because the building you upgrade isn't going to actually pay you back for 30 fucking turns, it's kind of irrelevant. Like you may as well just not bother at that point.
Yeah, it needs a big old heavy rework.
What would you say? Did it pay it back? Do you guys remember when they changed the harbors to be unfun, where they were just like
10,
50 gold, 100 gold, and 150? And we did the math, and it was like, yeah, so if you upgrade this one just from tier 3 to 5, it's going to take 120 turns to like pay it back. And everyone in the creator Discord is like, told the devs, you can have it like this. We can concede to that, but in that case, let us be able to demolish the ports.
Yeah.
Because like, there's no way I'm gonna like wait until like turn 120, and then it's like, yeah, now finally I get 50 gold per turn. And then,
I guarantee after they read that, they probably went, "Can we delete the ports? Hang on, let me check." No, that completely fucks the game, so we can't do that. Okay, fine. Just put some more money on it. It's fine.
Probably. No, it was those changes sometimes. I don't know why they're like, you know what's fun being poor in this game? The entire game is supposed to be
because that's how they make it difficult. That's the only difficulty, because battles are not difficult. They're not particularly. The only thing they can do is go, we need to wave assault them with enough shit to drown them. And to do that, we have to make them poor.
Some attributes part of the fall of the Roman Empire to diminishing returns and infrastructure when you actually had to expand, right? So it wasn't just worth taking over every single... Well, they did take over basically every single village, but at a certain point, you just didn't get that much money from it. So maybe that's what they're thinking, like, hey, yeah, you know what's fun? The fall of the Roman Empire if you're the Romans.
Fucking enjoy your failure. Which, instead, again, is fine if it wasn't that every single objective is conquer 80 settlements. You're like, well, I guess I've got to conquer 80 settlements now, which is so brutally unfun. I think like the Chaos Warriors are probably one of the most fun factions in the game to play because you don't have to conquer everything, because you can give it to a vassal and go, right, that's your fucking problem now.
Vassals are something they really need to fix up. Agamemnon was cool. He had a lot of vassals and he worked really, really well. He was like still the best vassal campaign in any Total War game. Agamemnon, whee!
Yeah, because again, you've got the experience of having a vast empire without actually having to micromanage that bullshit all yourself. Which is, it comes back to that. I think there's too many settlements in.
I mean, vassals are good. I enjoy vassals as well. They worked in Three Kingdoms. It was weird that they haven't like. They did fix them a lot in Warhammer 3, but they do need to like fix them better now. Though, and I hope that Empire will get that a little bit more as well. Because Karl Franz is a ruler, right? He doesn't like, oh, it's time to get the weekly budget report for this little shitty village out there, Karl. He's like, okay, well, that claw can wait then. I got budget report for Rufenberg.
You know what? Right, here's my take. Fix the Empire, right? Make it so, because the Empire is fucking huge, and they keep, for some reason, I don't know why, they seem to have a massive hard-on for adding more settlements to the Empire every single fucking patch. So what they need to do is make it so rather than but what they need to do is make it so that you don't conquer the Empire, you don't confederate, you vassalize. So rather than owning all of the Empire, you have the Reichland, and maybe like you can confederate.
Yeah, just give you the option.
Very rarely. Yeah, but then you could go, right, these guys are vassals, and now they will do what I tell them to.
And then we get to the next point, the problem of this. Making the AI useful.
Which is the biggest problem, to be honest.
So I guess that's what we're hoping for in Thrones of Decay.
Let's cope. I had one more thing about Nurgle.
Yes.
Like, so you know Grom, he has like all these cool ingredients, because let's be honest, that's where the plague's coming from. And you could like do cool combinations and like have ridiculous outcomes, like the explosive firing goblins. They just need to copy that basically. And be like, oh, well, if your army has this, then your Nurglings explode upon death. And if the enemy army has this, when you kill a unit, it spawns Nurglings. It's just make random effects.
This plague will give your plague bearers an AoE dot. Like, great. That's suddenly that's like, oh, that's really cool.
Like what tech would do. Yeah, something cool. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you guys.
Rather than like -4 leadership for
just fuck the stats. No one gives a shit about the stats. Just make it cool effects. That was like the entire appeal of Grom. Some of them were stats, that's fine, but not all of them. Anyway.
Yeah, totally on board with that.
Same. Right. Best suggested so far.
So the dissolution of the creator program. It happened.
But it was too big, and that's just what happens. They probably need a restart on that one. It's probably what they're trying to do. I don't know.
I mean, that is literally what they're trying to do. The statement that was officially released, which we're definitely allowed to mention, was that it's been completely wiped down, flattened, and then they're going to reopen something in time for, I think it was Thrones of Decay, not the Shadows of Change rework, which is fair enough because we don't have to pay anything for that, hopefully. So yeah, it's fine. It makes complete sense. It got too big. People got let go, so the team was smaller. So you need a smaller amount of people. It's completely fine. Cody explains this way better than we have, Will, so if you want more details on that, definitely.
Cody has like a 40 or 30-minute video about this, which is really good. It goes into depths pretty well.
Yep, so...
Yeah, it's really good. I mean, yes, fine, I guess. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do.
It just means that, CA is no longer paying us to say that the game's good, so we're going to now say that it's shit. Monsters,
wait, you guys are getting paid?
Yeah.
All right, are we moving on to the next point then? The Steam Awards that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, because this is a subject that Damneders is very chill about.
I'm so upset. It makes me angry, really.
I have one thing also that I get mad about. Mage.
Right, so
do yours first.
Well, looking at them, I've got my second train. It's finally, Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate. Obviously, that was going to win. Outstanding story, rich game. Obviously, it was going to win. The ones I have the problem with is Red Dead Redemption 2 is a labor of love. And that game has not seen an update since 2021.
Yeah, I was also like, how is that a labor of love? They haven't done anything to us.
It's
weird, isn't it? Just
it's literally a dead game. Especially when you remember the Rockstar leaks recently. It was like, oh, we were going to do some DLC for Red Dead 2 and some stuff for Red Dead Online, but GTA Online was making us so much money that we decided to allocate resources to that instead, which makes me, kind of want to die because Red Dead 2 is a great game, but it's not fucking labor of love. Deep Rock Galactic was in that area and it didn't get it again.
Every time I see Red Dead Redemption 2 and DLC mention, I'm like, what was it called?
Undead Nightmare.
Undead Nightmare was so good. It was like the best DLC ever. It was so good. It just remade the entire game. You just got a new game for us. A completely different vibe, different everything. It was just so good.
They could have literally just done Undead Nightmare in the new map and kept everything more or less the same, and people would have gobbled that shit up, but no. GTA Online. So anyway, that and Deep Rock not winning. There's another one that annoys me, but the one that I have to talk about is most innovative gameplay going to Starfield. And then I saw this morning that the Starfield account was celebrating on Twitter. I was like, you fuckers, look at what you're doing. You tell them that it's innovative, you idiots.
What? There's a few there that I just look. I mean, Labor of Love. What the fuck? Where the fuck is Vampire Survivors? That game is fucking great.
Deep Rock Galactic, man. Deep Rock.
I mean, there's just so many different games you go, yeah, that's really good. Right? Red Dead Redemption, that's stupid. And yeah, innovative gameplay? What the fuck does Starfield do different to anything?
I mean, it's really one of those things where it's like, it is community-driven votes. You can't be too mad about it. It's just people are stupid.
Well, the thing is that people will look at this. You can tell exactly what's happening because it is the most popular games. People saw Labor of Love and they saw Apex, Red Dead 2, Deep Rock, Dota 2, and Rust. I mean, probably the most people play Dota 2, but your average gamer probably plays Red Dead 2, so they just put that because it's probably it is the best game out of all of those, if you ask me, but it's not a Labor of Love. And just the same, the most people have played Starfield because the other entrants were Remnants 2, Shadows of Doubt, which I think should have won because that game is wacky. Your Only Move is Hustle, and Contraband Police, which I've never heard of. It's just, things that are just popularity contests when they have specific classes. If it was just, vote for your Game of the Year. It's fine, that one makes sense, but the other ones are just too specific.
I was surprised Sifu actually won because that's a insanely good and cool game, but I thought nobody really played that, so I was really happy and surprised it won.
Yeah, but have you seen the other nominees?
Yeah.
It was Overwatch 2. Let that one sink in. Lords of the Fallen, which was apparently good, but not many people played, if I'm correct. Football Club 24, which... Okay, and then Street Fighter 6, which admittedly should probably have won it since it... Did Sifu even come out this year?
Sifu needs some credit, honestly. Sifu was a cool game.
Did it come out this year? No.
Oh, wait, I did some Kung Fu back in the day. So I'm always nice, fun seeing some Kung Fu games.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
I think that's kind of fine, isn't it? It's Sifu game kind of, well, sure, that's fine. But okay, what did you think about the Outstanding Visual Style Award?
It's got the metal women in, so
that's my first. I mean, I looked at some of that. You've got Cocoon, you've got High on Life, you've got Inward. All of these games are. I mean, Darkest Dungeon 2's there, but I wouldn't really say that's outstanding visually. But there's 3 games there with really outstanding, really interesting visuals, and you've got fucking Atomic Heart, which I think is an Unreal bollocks And the only thing that's outstanding about it apparently is the faceless robot women with boobs, which I guess.
No, it's like a futuristic Bioshock in Soviet Union era, kind of
so
like
dull. It looks like basically any other game.
For visual style, well, I mean, like for visual style, it's not bad. I don't think. I think they made like a lot of cool design choices. I didn't play the other ones, but the other one, like High on Life, is just I don't even know about that one anymore. Darkest Dungeon 2 is like...
You're thinking too much about this. It's because people went, oh, look, there's sexy, faceless robot women.
Gamers are simple creatures.
I think it was like... They nailed the art style pretty well. I thought the game was like
people wanted to nail the faceless robot women.
Well, I mean, maybe. But I like the futuristic...
I'm not kink-shaming, but I am disappointed.
I think the one that annoys me personally, like I feel like this is an actual personal attack on me, is Best Steam Deck, which has gone to Hogwarts Legacy, which is the most popular of the games up there, but fucking Dredge was nominated again and didn't win.
Dredge is great on the Steam Deck.
I actually got Dredge thanks to you guys, but I got it on the Switch.
Just as good there, I imagine, if it's a good port, which I can't see why it wouldn't be. To me, that is the perfect Steam Deck game.
I mean, Diablo 4 seems like a fairly good Steam Deck game, but...
Fishing?
I don't know.
Spooky?
Yeah, it just feels like I think the good Steam Deck game is a game that's pretty easy to like pick up and put down. So you can just like play a little bit, stick it down, job done.
It runs perfectly. You get tons of battery life out of it. Whereas Hogwarts, I think you get like 2 hours tops at 30 FPS.
Pointless, absolutely pointless. Yeah, Hogwarts is just a weird. There's a bunch, to be honest. You look at the finalists and you just go, "What the fuck were they thinking?" I mean, apart from Baldur's Gate, which is obviously great, and just makes sense. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff there. So yeah, but basically, I don't think anyone should really look at the Steam Awards as any kind of award, because it just seems like a stupid popularity contest. So who gives a shit?
Well, yeah, it is. We're not going to go through this in as much detail as we did the game awards.
Yeah,
I just kind of want to scream about it. Deep Rock should have won that one. Dredge should have won that one. And I am saying that one, and you can't say, but you know what I'm on about. If you don't, too bad. I need to play Lethal Company. It looks pretty cool. We were going to get that, me and my friends, at Christmas, but you know, it's £8, not on sale. I'm not buying that.
No, wouldn't bother. Fuck it. Oh, I do want to play Shadows of Doubt, though. That does look good.
But that has innovative gameplay, you know?
Ooh. Well, I'm very, very excited to try that one then.
Which one?
Shadows of Doubt.
Oh, yeah, I heard good things.
I haven't personally played it, but I've watched a lot of people play, and it looks so weird, which I just love.
I keep seeing it and going, oh, that looks interesting. I should try that, and then completely forgetting it exists.
Oh, and then the other one, Best Soundtrack, Last of Us Part 1, which is a PC port of a remaster of a game that came out in like fucking 2015. Don't quote me on that. It probably wasn't that long ago, but it was a long time ago. When Pizza Tower and Hi-Fi Rush are up there. Really? Pizza Tower's soundtrack is amazing. Schizophrenic, yes, but amazing.
Interesting.
But can you imagine if like Resident Evil 4 beat Baldur's Gate 3 for Story Rich?
I think it's cool that Everspace 2 we got a new dev update today. And it was a game that got released this year for April, and it was a pretty cool game. But they're actually gonna port it over to Unreal Engine 5 instead of 4. That's like on the roadmap to just like remake it in that one or like port it over.
Ooh.
What is this game? This looks very cool.
Yeah. What is this? Is this basically fuck, what was that game that they promised everything? It came out.
No Man's Sky.
No, Star Citizen. Is that what
is it Star Citizen? Or is it more like No Man's Sky?
That's basically old Freelancer.
Oh, I loved Freelancer. I really love Starlancer.
What's Freelancer?
So there was a game called Starlancer which came out first, which was basically your classic sort of base fighter type game, and it was a wee bit. How the storyline was basically like all the Western nations are in this big sort of space alliance in the solar system, and then all the Eastern countries declare war on them. So that's China, Russia, North Korea. This that kind of storyline, and it ends up with the good races like escaping. I say good races. The good faction escape. Sorry, the the good faction escaping the solar system in like a big old sleeper ship, and the solar system getting exploded by some aliens, I think. Came out of left field. And I will forever remember that game because there was a particular mission which just kept dicking me over. And I can, to this day, tell you all of the radio barks for the start of that mission because it pissed me off so much, and I played it so many times that they are ingrained into my brain, and it's a core memory. Anyway, the Freelancer was the expansion or second game to that, where it kind of changed track from sort of like a wing commander type thing into more of a... It was more sort of an elite gameplay, wasn't it? Where you kind of start off with a little ship and you can do cargo runs and stuff, but there's a storyline that kind of takes you, and you start off in Manhattan because all the planets are named after like cities of the different factions that escaped. So like you can go to London, which is a dreary, rain-filled garbage hole, and there's a whole storyline going on. And then once you finish the storyline, you can just keep trading, but I don't know why you would. But yeah, sort of similar to that. It was pretty good.
Looks neat. I'd have definitely played that if I was born earlier.
You can play it now. Damneders.
Came out when I was alive, March 4th, 2003. I was alive then, at least.
Yeah, what?
I just thought it was cool that a game got released this year, and they I've been rooting for that game as well. I felt like not enough people actually played that one, and I was just happy that they were doing so well that they could actually just port it over to a new engine, because the game is gorgeous in Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine isn't good at like tons of stuff, but like just metallic surfaces, structures, ships, shit like that. It looks like stunning. If it's made well, it's just really like looks so good. And they're just gonna make it into the next one instead.
This looks like something I would like to play, but just do not have the time.
It does look really good, and it is still on sale for another 21 hours, which makes it very tempting.
Oh, what did we pick up during the Steam sale, if anything?
Well, we're gonna move on to games that we've been playing.
First, we're gonna do what you picked up for Steam sale, because I haven't played all the ones I bought.
Oh, I definitely haven't. Where do I see my purchase history? Oh, that's a bit shameful.
It kind of leads on, because the game that I've been playing is the game that I picked up, and that is Midnight Suns. Midnight Suns is so good. Yeah, so I have been fucking loving it, and let me tell you, when I first, I've been umming and ahhing about picking it up for a while now, because when it was coming up for release, I got an email about like, oh, would you like to cover this game on your channel? And I went, oh yeah, sure, I wouldn't. Looks interesting. And then they never got back to me, and I sent an email to them going, oh, is there any? And I never got any response. I was like, all right, fine, fuck you then. But I was sort of like keeping an eye on it, and it did look like kind of interesting. So when it came up for sale, I was like, sure, why not? And then I saw a review from Damneders below, because he's my friend on Steam, so it showed me the review, and I was like, oh, well, he's talking it up, so sure, why not? So I picked it up, and I thought like, oh, the car gameplay is going to be quite fun. I'm sure I can sort of muddle through the rest of that stuff. It's fine. Did I think my favourite part of the game was going to be the book club with Blade, Captain Marvel, Wolverine, and Captain America? No.
It's so charming.
Yes. I don't know why. I don't know. Every time the book club, I'm like, fucking yes, let's go. Fucking book club, let's go, baby. Ready for this. It's like, come on, let's get this mission done, because I want to go to fucking book club. Let's go. So, but yeah, I'm genuinely really enjoying it. I've been wandering around the grounds, just doing all the little things, and going, oh fuck, I should probably actually play the game, shouldn't I?
Yeah, I've got like 70 hours in that game with all the DLC. The DLC's kind of mid, but it's alright.
And it's a fucking good Steam Deck game as well, because it's so easy just to pick up and put down, and it just works really well on the Steam Deck. All the controls are really clear. It's just a great game for that. And I'll tell you what, I was really disappointed to read that it was not a commercial success, and they probably won't do any other things. And I was like, but it's such a good, like, all the mechanics are so good, like the number of cards you can play and the heroism and the way these all interact just works so well. It's such a good game, and it's a little bit buggy. There's a few bugs I found, but other than that, it's just really, really good.
For anyone who has missed the Steam sale when this one comes out, it is now on the Humble Bundle as well this month. Humble choice.
Yeah, I've said multiple times, it's one of the most underrated games that I feel like I've played recently. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, it's a pretty goddamn good one. Personally, I got a couple of them this time around. But I got Cult of the Lamb, which I hadn't tried before.
Brilliant.
Really good.
I got Alan Wake 2 as well, because I want to see what all the
fuss is about.
I used my Epic coupon on that one.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap there, actually, weirdly enough.
I think, isn't it only on Epic at the minute?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you get like...
They do have some cheap deals sometimes. Probably a horrible company, though, from what I read, but, cheap games.
Yeah, it's one of those things where, like, I don't like the Epic launcher. Like, all the stuff I hear about Epic, I don't like. However, you can only get the game there, first of all. And also, it's already on sale. I think it's about 30% off. So it's like $30 odd, and then you get another 33% off. So you can get the game for like $20. And it's won multiple Game of the Year awards. So
it's not bad.
Might as well. I've bought many things. Well, not many things. A couple of things in the sale, but I haven't played any of them yet. I bought RoboCop Fred. It is on my list. I will play it. Just
Fantastic.
Not yet. But I've been playing a load of stuff that I've been clearing out my backlog because I organized it, and I've finished a few games recently, which I'm quite pleased with. Finished Trepang 2, which was just an
Trepang 2 is cool.
It's so weird.
Yeah. It's like if Fear came out, and it had all the fun without the charm. it's pretty good though. But
it's just like a ridiculous, over-the-top action film.
Yeah,
and that's fine. Well, what do you need? I finished the Resident Evil 4 remake. That game's still too long. I finished the main campaign of Frontiers of Pandora, which I'll save my comments for that because I know I'm wrong, and that's fine. I finished Ghost Runner like yesterday, and then Katana Zero the day before that, which are kind of similar, but both very, very good games.
Have you tried Ghost Runner 2?
No, I'm trying to refrain from buying more games before I finish some of the ones.
You get a motorcycle in that one.
Ooh,
tempting. I don't know. Yeah, Ghost Runner is really like the free running is really good, and the combat is really nice. And I like learning. I didn't use the abilities because I was like, I just kind of want to get through this on technique alone and force myself to do that, which was really satisfying. Like sometimes, you go into certain areas and they were just way too hard, and that made me cry a little bit, but that's all part of the fun. The soundtrack is also really good. The story is a little bit predictable, but hey, that's fine. And then Katana Zero is like kind of the same but 2D, and the story is way more interesting, which I didn't expect from that sort of game. Yeah, highly recommend both those two. I think that's everything.
I also got Super Mario Wonders to play with the family.
Family man.
That's pretty fun. Trying to teach the little one how to use controls and stuff like that. Because nowadays kids aren't really into controls, like they just try to touch the monitor and stuff. So it's an adventure.
My kid has been getting better with the Steam Deck because every time he sees me playing Midnight Suns, he wants to see Spider-Man and Iron Man. But in their suit, because them being out their suits is bullshit apparently. But then he just wants to wander around the grounds and find the dog.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, but he's getting good at the controls, which is worrying.
Just thinking Spider-Man, Iron Man's not the best combination if you ask me. Missions.
It's not, but every mission that he turns out, he's like, "Where's Iron Man? Where's Spider-Man?"
Because they're useless.
Where is the dog?
Is the dog at home? Is the dog safe?
Yeah, Charlie's fine. She's back at base. I think it's called Charlie.
He just wants to go. Yeah, it's Charlie. He wants to go and pet Charlie every time he sees me. Where's the map? Bring up the map, Daddy. Right, where's the dog? There. How do we get there? Let me control. We're never going to reach him if you control. I want to do it. Okay, that's my gameplay session gone.
Oh, well.
Perfect.
You know what you've signed up for. You have
Nice.
Yeah.
Very much enjoying clearing the backlog. Highly recommend it.
So you've been playing Midnight Suns and Damneders.
Been playing all sorts and completing stuff for once.
Fantastic.
The things I've been playing.
I've actually been playing so much Conan Exiles. We got a community server and Rogue Trader. I'm just finishing goddamn Rogue Trader, and it's such
huge,
a long game.
It's so long.
And if you're listening, I've heard rumors that there's going to be a major patch as the 11th, possibly. Rumor. So they'll fix stuff. Because Acts 4 and 5 are broken, and the charm definitely dissipates as Acts 4 and 5. So if you've been thinking of taking a break, just do that. It's still cool though. I've been enjoying it. Talking Warhammer every single day. I love the lore. I love talking about lore, the complex morality of stuff. Who is actually the most evil? What is evil in the Warhammer world? Can the orcs actually be evil? Stuff like that. Cool.
No, they can't be. They're just a force of nature. They don't give a shit. They're just having a lovely
I
time.
mean, like orcs are literally bioengineered weapons. How the hell can they be evil? They were made for this. They don't have a choice in this.
They're just loving life. There was something in one book which said some orcs think that they're dead already because the galaxy they're in is so full of fighting that they've probably gone to heaven.
Yeah, but I mean, like they were made for the specific reason of like trying to fight stuff. So they don't have a choice. They literally like are the most warmongering things out there. They're like one of the biggest threats. You can't really talk to them. You can't really do anything because they are a weapon.
Have you read the the Orc War book with the Orc
Beast?
death the Beast? Have you read that series?
No, I have read about it.
Does it feel like Warhammer 40,000 jumping the fucking shark so hard?
Do you want to know something? A really cool little mind-boggling thing.
Go on then.
The Beast is like close to being a Krork. The Krorks are insanely powerful, really big, super smart orcs. And they, together with the Eldari, lost versus the Necrons. Should always think about that. Like, Krorks are really cool, but the Necrons beat them.
They did, but I would say that it just feels like, because this is kind of spoilers, but if you read that series, the sort of like the Doom planet that the orcs basically turn into a Death Star effectively, and then teleport it next to Terra, which has a whole thing going on. But then that world gets teleported away, and if I'm right in remembering this, because this is like years ago that I read this, but that planet then becomes Armageddon. Like everyone just forgets that it's Armageddon, that it happened to be the Orc Death Star, and then they just go, it's Armageddon now, it's fine. And I just feel like that was the only series that I've read that I've gone, holy shit, what were they smoking when they thought this up?
I need to check that one out.
Do, because the entire thing is so batshit insane.
Because I've just been going through like the Curse of Cain, and man, like dark elf politics. God damn it!
I love that. The Drukhari are a lot of fun, but I've been reading the Horus Heresy, and I just listened to Legion, which is a really good book, and I totally understand why anyone who's read that loves the Alpha Legion, because they're probably one of the most interesting legions in the entire fucking game and lore. But I've also been enjoying Rogue Trader, but I'm only on Act 2 so far.
Yeah, I just enjoyed Act 2 is fantastic. Act 2 is also as big as the rest of the acts put together.
And I've given Agenta, Best Girl, Heavy Bolter, and I've been having a lot of fun.
I don't know if like Argenta is I'm not gonna say much else for it, but Argenta is easily the most broken thing in the entire game. Like it's mind-boggling how that managed to get into like balancing. It is insane.
I just like the fact that you just point in a direction and everything in that direction is fucking liquidized, even if it's your friend.
It's just gonna be so much more of that. Like I've just been cackling on stream is so much. She kills like bosses before the first turn.
Liquidizes them. It's like Heinrich is just off to one side, and I'm like,
he's holding the wall like this,
and it doesn't work. He gets fucking annihilated. There's so many times I've just been like, I just want to end this fight. Agenta, can you just like shoot? I know Cassie is in the way. I'm really sorry, but just shoot in that direction, and everything dies, including Cassie.
Argenta becomes the front line for Daka. I've had so much Daka. I literally like just had the game bug out, and chat just goes like, "Well, I guess you can have too much Daka," and she'll just stand like this, and you can just see like effect thing just going away from her constantly, and it's like, well, all right, fair.
Yeah, so I think Road Trader is really good. I'm glad that there's going to be a patch for Acts 4 and 5 before I reach them, because
hopefully
playthrough will be untarnished.
Yeah, have you played the other old Owlcat games?
No, I haven't, but I'm quite interested in doing that now.
So here's the thing about him. they're too big to ever really get fixed. Like some stuff in Kingmaker still doesn't work, and they just
God.
stopped patching it. Wrath, some stuff doesn't work, but it's not a lot of stuff. It's just like you'll find some random thing. But the games are so insanely large and so complex that they just find like skills and talents that don't work every day now in Rogue Trader and stuff like that. It's just how it is.
I
But
do
the
think
games are still very enjoyable still, though.
I do think the grand strategist archetype is just really convoluted and awkward to use.
It kind of works. I've been doing Arc Militants on a lot of them, and what is this, Grand Tactician or something?
Yeah, Grand Tactician's great. That's really like there's a lot of good.
But Arc Militant is insane. So good, so good.
Really,
I managed to make my own Rogue Trader into the least effective thing on the entire planet. He is so bad at everything.
Have you turned him into an order boy? Does he just order other people to do his dirty work?
No, he doesn't even do that. He's supposed to be like a commissar sniper, but he's kind of like a bounty hunter. So he just doesn't work because right now it costs profit factor to goddamn respect him. I didn't want to do that. So it's like, I'm just going to suck instead of like spending my money on this. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, I did respect Cassia, but my Rogue Trader is basically like an order boy. Basically just goes, Agenta, I don't want to see those guys over there, and she does it for me, which is great.
Yeah, that's
except when you do a warp jump and you get interrupted in your bedroom, and a bunch of demonettes spawn outside it, and then you have to like huddle because I'm so fucking ineffective at doing anything apart from ordering other people to do my dirty work that I just had to hide behind a cupboard until everyone else showed up to save me.
Yeah,
Avalon's agenda just turned up and killed everyone.
Yeah, that's basically what you have to do. Like that's the best build you can have for your main dude, from what I hear, because the other dudes' origin stuff is stuff you can't have, and they are so widely effective at stuff. So it do be how it is.
There we go. There we go.
All right.
Anyone else been playing anything?
I'm just looking at my recent. Not really.
I've been playing so much Conan again. Conan is so much fun with friends.
Doing adventures. Have you been? So you've got a community server.
Yeah.
Do you like build settlements and stuff?
Well, right now we're not that many, so we just have a giant fortress.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually pretty dope. I'm pretty proud of it.
That sounds sweet.
Yeah. So apparently today, when I couldn't be there, they expanded the bar area. Because the bar is actually a thing that you can use now, because you like put the bar down and then
nice.
You can recruit thralls to it. So you like recruit little NPC army stuff that can either fight or work and stuff like that. So
that sounds pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah, it is actually pretty awesome. So everything we do is either go and find some help, which is just finding somebody with a name who is in like Sumerian fighter tier 3, but like somebody with a name. Kill everyone around them and then bash them in the head until they're unconscious, drag them back to base, put them in a thrall wheel so they have to like push like Conan, and then after a while they get into the gang, and then they get their armor and stuff, and then they get stabbed by the front gates.
Oh, that sounds
because you activate these purges, right, that come at you, and a bunch of NPCs spawn and try to invade your fortress. So it's pretty cool. Like it's been enjoyable.
Sounds like multiplayer Kenshi.
Yeah, well, not as shit, but yeah. Kenshi is good, but it is shit. Like, I'm not gonna take...
Kenshi is like the most I've ever tested my patience.
I played...
so fucking
I tried to
ridiculous.
learn that on stream, and it was a mistake so much. I was like, am I supposed to be... What am I doing? Kidnapped now?
Yeah.
They stole my legs? How do I do this? And people are just like, yeah.
Pretty much. You're just spawning, and instantly someone will knock you over the head, kidnap you, tie you up, and then slowly over the course of several hours cannibalize parts of your body until you die and you lose. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it, because you spawn in as a guy. You're not a main character. You are just a person who is shit at everything. It's great, but it's not. But
yeah,
it's like nothing else that you'll ever play. It's weird.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Oh, you haven't played this?
I've never heard about this game.
Yeah, just buy it, make a video about it. Yeah. People warned me about this as the title already. Perfect.
Oh no.
I think it took me like 30 hours to make enough footage for like a single video. So it was just like 90% of your time, I was just sat there like inside my base, praying that nothing bad happens, training my guys to be not shit at everything.
Having a bunch of rocks just running from place A to place B.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Wacky game.
Yeah, no, definitely you should do that more. So I would love to see like you have like 4 hours, then you just like super cut to yourself. It's going like, what? And then no, what? Oh, what?
Shit. It's only 10 quids.
There's a price that's not monetary that you pay.
The sanity,
Yeah.
the sanity damage.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
What are we excited
Overwhelmingly
for
positive.
next year?
You know, I genuinely don't know any game that's coming out apart from Thrones of Decay and Space Marine 2.
Oh yes, of course, September. And I said next year. It's actually this year. Good lord, it's 2024. I deal with it.
Yeah, so looking forward to that. But apart from that, I'm just kind of waiting for Party Elite to do a video about games upcoming in 2024 so I can go, yeah, those all look great. I'll do that.
Sovereign Syndicate is coming out if you're into it's like a steampunk CRPG.
Wait, what's this?
Sovereign Syndicate coming out in like 2 weeks.
Sovereign Ooh,
It's like Arcanum, Beyond Steamwork and Obscura, but new and probably not with as much charm.
Oh,
I still remember how but it's such a small detail, but it's like everybody was complaining about Baldur's Gate 3, the epilogue, that it didn't see like that much. But Arcanum, the old game, they had like, you would get like a 30-minute presentation afterwards, like just what happened to stuff. It's like, well, the orcs managed to unionize, and they have livable wages, and the man in the tree, he doesn't poop in a pad anymore. You know, like, keep on going with stuff.
It's Victorian steampunk RPG. I'm so fucking in. I'm never going to finish Rogue Trader in time for this. 15th of January.
You want to know
time.
You want to know something even worse? There's another steampunk RPG coming out.
No, Fred.
Do you want to know? Did you want to know anything?
Yes,
something worse?
What it is. Yes, Fred. Of course I do.
One of the main people from Bloodlines and Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines and Arcanum is doing that one. It's like In Exiles or something like that. Is what it's what is they called? Clockwork Revolution is what that one is called.
Clockwork Revolution. Oh yeah.
So it's another one like that, but it's made by a person who made some of the best RPGs of my childhood. One of the main dudes.
Well, I'm adding that to my wish list as well. But I'm very excited about a Victorian steampunk CRPG with Minotaurs in it. That's my kind of bag, baby.
I'm just going through my Steam wish list and looking at stuff that's coming out this year. I do not remember half of these things.
I know that Hooded Horse have got like a whole swathe of games coming out next year, or this year even, because it is next year.
Well, there's a ton of stuff coming out. I just can't remember any of it right now.
It's like up until 2 weeks before it comes out, I've got no vision of this stuff.
Right. There's the Star Wars game that's coming out, I think.
Oh yeah.
I'm very excited.
Isn't that like February or something?
Yeah, it's not too long. I'm very excited for that after playing Avatar. Speaking of it, it's the Avatar Frontiers Pandora game. It's getting a few DLCs. Only I'm excited about that, and I'm okay with it. Also,
I played it like for 2 hours, and exactly like what you said. Like you come out of the tunnel, and then you're just like, "This is the prettiest game I've ever seen." Like this is amazing. And then you're like trying to play it, and it's like, "Wow, it's fine."
Oh, it's a Ubisoft game, but it looks nice.
I wasn't even like, I don't know. I like the Ubisoft games. I just didn't get into it. I don't know why.
So what Star Wars game is coming out?
Star Wars
Ubisoft is making yeah. You're basically like it's like being Han Solo, but instead of a Wookiee, you have this one of the big robots from Rogue One. But it's not Alan Tudyk that's playing it. Instead, it's just somebody else that's cheaper.
I believe it's in the same engine as Avatar, so I'm hopeful that it'll at least look very good, and it'll be another one of those games I can play because I like the setting. But, I'm very hopeful for that. Of course, wait and see. There's Dragon's Dogma 2 comes out on the 22nd of March. That's pretty rad.
Oh yeah. That's close to my birthday as well, so that's gonna be nice.
8th of March, Homeworld 3. Frostpunk is this year. Is that
There's also
Millennia
going to be
game
a
coming out
couple
this
of
year?
games that probably that are just like, oh, where did this come from? This is Grace.
Yeah. Is that Paradox Millennia game coming out this year?
Oh yeah. I have my list full of things that I need to play now. Anyway.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is it recently that it just feels like game companies aren't bothering marketing games anymore? Because it does feel like recently there's a whole bunch of games that have come out, and I've gone, "Oh shit, is that out already?" I didn't, or I never fucking heard about this. And they seem to just like spit out these games and go, "Well, look, no one bought it because no one heard about it."
Pretty much.
Yeah, the ones I really dislike are 505 games because they don't give keys to anyone, basically to any like YouTuber or streamer or anything like that. Apparently, like I never see their stuff be made into videos or anything like that. Like they seem to just have, like I don't know, man. I think influencer marketing is like a thing where I'll just check out a game and I'm like, oh yeah, they made a review, so now I bought Quasimore for some reason. But like I never see like things about like Miasma Chronicles. I never saw anything about that one. I mean, like they also did Alan Wake 2, so that one obviously saw stuff about, but they just did so many things that I just never made that nobody did content about basically. So I never saw it personally.
I think it's going to be a very very tough act to follow. Is last year. This year's going to be, I think it's going to feel like one of those years where nothing good comes out, even though it's compared to any other year, it's probably going to be like, fine. It's like, how many years do you have where there's so many competitors for Game of the Year as last year?
To be honest, I think if the games industry can put out half the number of games and not silently implode,
that would be nice.
A win. That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It feels like a lot, like game-wise, loads of great games came out. But it feels like there was massive layoffs across the entire industry.
10,000 jobs or something, I think. Citation needed.
What's just in the UK?
No, that was overall. I think that was overall. 10,000 jobs just reduced to hams.
Gone. And I just feel like if that was a good year for games, what the fuck is a bad game? Bad year for games that like.
No, it's like that technology, and I mean this is always like I don't want to go into like any capitalism bad or anything like that. But if somebody owns a factory, they have 500 employees. They get a machine that can produce twice as many things. Like they used to do the output twice as much. They're gonna fire half of the working force and still have the same output. That's just how it is. Yeah. Companies make a lot of money during COVID. They think that's gonna keep on going. They can still afford them, but they'd rather just, fire people because the growth wasn't sustainable anyway. And it's just, man.
The line went slightly down on the graph instead of going like this. It went like this.
The Bobby Kotick's of the world just always ruin everything.
Yeah.
Personal wealth in front of everything else.
I think the other thing is that you kind of assume that people in high positions know what they're doing, but they don't. They don't. They're just guessing like the rest of us, except they just lie better.
Yeah, like I always say, that you can't really have the dudes who know exactly how to make money for every single industry in a creative line of work, because creative stuff doesn't work like this. People will sooner or later understand. Like since Bobby Kotick came into Blizzard, he basically made that like Blizzard went from the golden standard of video games, something people were annoyed at but still bought stuff. Well, yeah, people were like mad, and it was just he actively made games worse.
I have a question. Where did this Madge stuff come from? Is this some cool kid thing that I'm too old to understand?
Yeah. Sorry, I got brain rot from Twitch. It's just being mad about balding and stuff.
The dropping of the Overwatch booth is just like, I don't understand how you can have something that is that fucking white hot. Like Overwatch was the fucking game. Everyone was playing it. Everyone was buying it because it was a paid game. And then you make Overwatch 2 and it is absolute trash. I just don't understand how you can go from such highs to such lows in such a absurdly fast amount of time.
This comes from people at the top thinking they know what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
and not realize they basically buy into their own bullshit, don't they? They know for a fact they don't know what they're doing, but then they get to a point where they go, "Fuck, maybe I do. I've had a brilliant idea. Let's do this." And now I'm so into myself that I can't see how I could be ever wrong. and this is how you get Overwatch 2 and Hyenas.
I think
it's so weird because the Blizzard employees like knew it would happen on Steam because they had like removed so much. It wasn't, so much stuff that was promised that wasn't there. Like they knew that would happen, but nobody cared anyway.
It's hilarious. It's a free game, so even if you've not got any hours on it on Steam, you can leave a review. I left a negative review. I've got fucking hundreds of, maybe if not thousands of hours in Overwatch, and they fucked my game. But I have to you have to laugh a little bit at Overwatch because I believe it was with Heroes of the Storm first. They tried to make this pro league for this casual game, and it didn't work, and they overinvested, and that is kind of what resulted in the death of Heroes of the Storm, I believe. I'm not a historian or anything. And then they did the exact same thing with Overwatch, which was a more competitive game, and still somehow managed to fuck it up by overinvesting in something that they didn't know was going to do well. It's just impressive to make that many mistakes.
It's like the Overwatch thing, right? He sold the rights to make money and get like another feather in his cap again. Sold the rights to YouTube. Nobody really gave a shit about esports on YouTube. So people didn't watch it much, so it just kept declining and people didn't care anymore. So then they had to make a new game.
But the problem is that people go, oh, Blizzard knows how to do esports because you've got, StarCraft and stuff. But they never set out to do that. They never set out StarCraft to go, yes, this is going to be an esport.
Well,
it just happened to become an esport. And then they decided to go, well, we're doing StarCraft 2, so we must do esports stuff. And yet they're held up as like, well, this is a company that knows what they're doing. But they don't have a fucking clue what they're doing.
Yeah, they saw that, Dota 2 is... I'm not sure if I'm not very up to date with esports, but Dota 2 is one of the biggest esports in the world, and the prize pools break the record every single year. But because it's backed by Steam and Valve, who own all the fucking games and make infinite amounts of money per second, they can afford to do that. Whereas if you're just a game studio, obviously you're not going to have the same amount of funds you can throw at it, and if it doesn't pan out, doesn't get the viewership you need, it fucks you. Whereas if the Dota 2 international thing just tanked, Valve would be like, oh well, just cancel it, it's fine, don't need to do it next year, or just reduce the funding next year.
If I remember correctly, League of Legends, their championships have always gone gone into the red because that is marketing.
Yeah.
So, and that's also why League of Legends was so incredibly popular, and still is very popular. I don't know how it's doing now, though, but it's I wouldn't want to guess on any numbers because I thought Fortnite was dying out, but apparently it was the most popular ever, and several hundreds of
Christmas. I think it hit 40 million players or something in a day.
Yeah,
against citation needed.
Christ. But I mean, this is kind of people go out, set out, and try and make an esport, because I know that Fortnite started out as a completely different game, didn't they? And then they pivoted because PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds was doing quite well, so they pivoted to basically doing that. But games companies will keep trying to make games like Dawn of War 3, and I'm also going to throw Realm of Ruin in here as well. Throw that one under the bus. They'll try and do an esport, and it just falls flat on its face because there's no market for it, there's no audience, there's no one to actually play it, and there's no one to play your esport. It's not an esport. Yeah,
the beauty of esports, at least a lot of the ones that I think are quite prominent, is that they started because people were playing the game and they're like, right, let's organize a tournament. And then when the company called on, said oh, we're going to do our own tournament with resources, which is great. If I remember correctly, which again, I could be wrong, I probably watched a YouTube video. I believe the first Fortnite tournament set up by Keemstar or someone. And then after that, it became I'm not saying, he launched it, but after that, a lot of other people started doing their own. Then eventually you get big things. And I also just Googled it, and it was 44.7 million plays in a day. Jesus Christ.
236 million monthly active players as well. It's insane.
And they're still not making money.
Well, I think
Epic's...
Yeah, they are. They have a revenue of 226 billion to date.
Oh, they probably just declared loss, so, tax.
Yeah. Let's fire a bunch of people.
Ah, yeah, that's the one.
No, but it's they do everything for the Epic Game Store, the Unreal Engine, and blah 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 blah. They do. That's the moneymaker.
This is kind of another thing of they're trying to make another Steam, aren't they? They want a piece of Steam's pie, so they've made another Steam, but no one likes it.
I think the exclusivity I really, really hate, because I think it just kneecaps a game's potential. Alan Wake 2, I bet there's a good 70% of people that would have played it if it came out on Steam that just won't go across. I'm happy to buy the odd thing on Epic when I've got a good coupon. Like, I got Anno for basically no money. Well, it wasn't on Steam when I bought it, so, you know, fuck me, I guess. But that's how I got it, because it was super duper cheap, and I don't really care. Because, you know, everyone has my information anyway, so... Yeah.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I mean, Epic is really one of those things that just... They don't have Gabe, right? Because Gabe is feels like a dude he's not one of the Bobby Koticks of the world. And there, when Epic Games got released their store, they kept saying like, oh well, Steam takes 30% of the revenue, we only take 15%, stuff like that. But definitely, it's gotten highlighted how bad it probably would have been if you only had the Epic Games, like, and how bad they would make it, because they just seem to be chock full of the Bobby Koticks.
Yeah, I don't think Epic Games is like the store is necessarily bad. It's just that it does a whole bunch of like. Steam
it
does
is
a whole
pretty
bunch
bad
of stuff that, yeah. I mean, it's like ethically, I don't think they're like, you know, chucking orphans into a stream in a bag or anything like that. But it's just not a very good marketplace. Like, it's really hard to find games. It's really hard to do anything. Steam just seems a lot more, despite the fact there's more stuff in it. It feels like it's a lot harder to actually do stuff. And if they just kind of worked at making it a better store, that'd be better than offering free games.
Possibly. All right. Well, I think that's gonna be concluding for this time, the first podcast of the year, because I haven't seen you guys since last year.
Yeah, I haven't seen you all year. Oh, fuck, I didn't do any of those jokes. Fuck.
No. We can do them now.
3 days.
Oh, I haven't spoke to you guys in this year.
I haven't seen anyone since last year.
Earlier, we texted each other. There was messages.
Oh, we haven't covered how much cheese we ate. Enough to give me a very severe tummy ache.
My wife just went out and bought a shit ton of cheese, so
I don't
the fridge is 90% cheese.
Me and my dad fucked up a Christmas pudding on Christmas Day. Only me and him were eating it out of like a table of 6 people, and we did half of that bitch between us, and it was a full size, serves 8.
Absolute legends.
Over here we eat Christmas ham and wurtbröd, which is like a kind of bread that only is around here. That's what I've been eating for breakfast every single day for December.
Is that like a sweet bread, or?
I guess it's a kind of sweeter bread. Sometimes there's raisin in it. I tried to like find a translation to it, but apparently we're the only ones who do it. It's a Christmas bread.
I do like raisin bread.
I do.
I'm not really sure. Well, sometimes there's raisin in it. I guess it's like I'm not really sure.
Is it just bread? Are you just saying it's bread with a fancy name? Is that basically what you're telling us?
It's a slice of Hovis with some raisins sprinkled on.
No. You guys don't. It's a special one. It's like we have a couple of things like that for Christmas. It's like we have glögg as well, which is like a mulled wine kind of thing.
So you got mulled wine with a fancy name.
It's special.
Glögg.
Yeah.
Do you think, actually, just throwing this out here, completely different. If you took 2 slices of Hovis, put some raisins between them, and then like roller pinned them together, do you think that would make raisin bread?
No.
I think it'd make a weird parcel of Hovis raisins. It'd probably taste fine.
I think it would work. I'm going to fucking try it.
And also ate a lot of clementines. That's so good.
What are they? Just oranges with a fancy
fruit?
Name?
It's, yeah.
Over the Christmas period?
Yeah, because now it's the season for them. You can't get them anywhere else than like December and a little bit into January.
What the? Do they grow in Sweden in the winter?
No, they don't.
They're not in season, are they?
Well, they're not in season in Sweden. They're in season where they're being grown.
Sweden in December. Ah, the clementine trees, fully in fruit.
They're from what the hell? Something is in season somewhere. It's from I don't know where it's being grown. It's clementines. Don't you guys have those? What the hell?
All year round. We don't just have like.
But they're now good now. They're in season now. Don't you understand? Like seasonal fruits? What is this?
Yeah, but no fruit is in fucking season like winter, apart from like berries and stuff, right?
That's like then you're gonna have like don't you like if you eat a lot of food you like notice that some food is better at some points? Don't you notice that?
I'm gonna be honest, my taste buds are fucked, so probably no. I just go
so then you're orangey. Like, oh, Nice. Now it's like you get like a couple of months where apples are extra good, or
You
like
vastly
clementines
overestimate the
extra
health of
good.
my diet.
Or like when anything is like extra good. Like the I'm trying to eat the fruit that is in season. What are you guys?
I just mash bananas in some porridge, and that's like the closest I get to fruit.
Yeah, I'm going to be
I
honest.
have mashed bananas. What the hell?
All the fruit in this house gets devoured by my 4-year-old, so I barely get a chance, to be honest.
Shame.
All right, well, I can't remember what fruit is in season next, but right now it's clementines, and they're the best now in December and a little bit into January. God damn it.
I'll take your word for
it. Jesus. All right.
I feel like I've been schooled, but I don't know why.
Right, go on. Play us out, someone.
All right, so that's gonna be cameras being zoomed out.
This is my room. I can't go anywhere. This is literally it. There's a door there, shelf there. That's it. He's gone though. I guess. Bye, everyone.